Hey, how's it going everybody? It's Tanner here and welcome back to a new Ninjago Season 11 discussion video here on the channel. In today's video we're going to be talking about my overall thoughts on the Fire chapter for Ninjago's Season 11 story. In case you guys don't know, somehow the Season 11 saga is basically being split up into two equal parts. We have the Fire chapter and the Ice chapter, and the Fire chapter of course came first and just finished airing recently, so let's go ahead and talk about that. I'm going to go over a few different categories in this video, such as the story plot point, the actual fighting, the new characters being introduced, and then at the end of the video I will be giving the overall season, sort of my official rating, not really a number rating, more of like what I thought about the actual first half of Season 11 story. I feel like it is necessary to go ahead and split up these videos into two different parts. I'll do one for the Ice chapter when it finally finishes as well. It hasn't even started yet as of the time of recording this video, but we'll go ahead and get started here by talking about the Fire chapter, more specifically talking about the story. Now the story basically revolves around Esphira, who was an evil serpentine empress from a long while ago, rising back up in the modern day of Ninjago, and she sort of begins taking, I guess, revenge out on the ninja, specifically Master Wu. Now Esphira as a villain, I am going to be doing a video on her later on, but as an overall character, I thought she was really well done. She wasn't the most, I guess, deep villain ever. There definitely is some two-dimensional shading going on here. There's not really a lot of, I guess, exclusivity with her character. It's more like your traditional tropes and your traditional, I guess, Ninjago villain. Just felt kind of cliche, not really too, I guess, memorable, but also not really terrible. She was a decent villain. And again, the Pyro Vipers are really cool as well. They're actually a pretty cool army. I mean, at least they stepped it up from just having them be, you know, generic serpentine, which I kind of got tired of during Season 1 of Ninjago. But the Pyro Vipers were a nice breath of fresh air overall. I thought they were really well done. As an actual army, they're pretty cool. They're definitely intimidating, and they definitely put up one hell of a fight against our favorite ninja. Now, talking about the fights here, definitely an improvement over the other seasons. That's something that I'm just going to praise here right now. Season 11 seems like it is going to be a very, very well action-packed and well-stylized season, humorously enough. Again, the actual fighting from the previous Ninjago seasons did not bother me, but Season 11 just takes it to an entirely different level, and a lot of that has to do with Forbidden Spinjitzu. Forbidden Spinjitzu is one of the major plot points that was introduced overall in the Fire chapter story, and it is insanely awesome that the ninja actually use and incorporate Forbidden Spinjitzu into their fighting techniques. Of course, Esphira uses it as well, but we see almost every ninja use it at one point, and it's really well done. The actual powers that the ninja are given when they're, I guess, made in contact with the scroll of Forbidden Spinjitzu is very, very cool to see. Definitely a lot going on there in terms of, again, stylization and, of course, also combat. There is a lot of intriguing combat going on here during the battles. The fights are one of the best parts of the season, in my opinion, and again, they blow fights from the other seasons out of the water. Again, a lot of the previous Ninjago fights weren't bad by any means, but they were definitely stiff and sort of, I guess, emotionless for the most part. Definitely not every battle was emotionless. There were definitely some emotional battles prior to Ninjago Season 11. And again, the Fire chapter takes things in a more fast-paced and more, I guess, personal level. You actually feel like the battles mean something every time the ninja fight one of the villains, because it's so cool to see, and it's definitely really well stylized again. And again, Forbidden Spinjitzu will probably play a larger role in the Ice chapter as well, but it was a cool introduction to this new sort of technique. Each time the ninja use a new gimmick like this, I tend to be a little skeptical because it doesn't really work all the time, but in the case of Forbidden Spinjitzu, I think it definitely does work. There are a lot of things that I really do enjoy about this actual martial art, and I can't wait to see what is added to the actual history of the martial art in future Ninjago seasons. Definitely a really cool addition to the overall Ninjago story. In terms of new characters that were introduced, again, we already talked about Esphira, and I'll do a video on her later on, talking about and breaking her character down in a little more detail, but we do have a few new characters that were introduced, such as Clutch Powers. Now, Clutch Powers is not a new character to the, I guess, the hardcore LEGO fans who know who exactly Clutch Powers is. Clutch Powers was a character that was introduced a long while ago, I believe back in the 2010 era of LEGO, and again, he is not new to LEGO fans, but he is new to Ninjago, so that's why I'm talking about him here. And to summarize how I feel about Clutch Powers, he's kind of disappointing. He's not what I was expecting. He's definitely a more comedic character in the same style as maybe somebody like Dareth. He reminds me of a fusion between Dareth and Ronin. If you fuse those two characters together, in my opinion, you get this iteration of Clutch Powers. He's not really the best character out there, and I was kind of disappointed with how he was actually handled, but at the end of the day, he's still not too bad. I just felt like he he was a little underutilized, and I guess a lot of the potential really wasn't there for him to be as great as he could be. He could have been one of the better ninja allies, but instead he just kind of felt like a side character that was basically just used to make a lot of jokes. Now I'm going to be talking about Little Nelson here as well, because Little Nelson, or for the sake of simplicity we'll just call him Nelson, he isn't really a new character as well, but he definitely has more to do in this season than what he did in his debut season, which was season 6. Nelson first appeared in season 6, as I've said prior, and he was, I guess, a member of, I guess, this world's version of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and in this season he actually has more to do than besides, just be the purple ninja for a few minutes. While he definitely does utilize the purple ninja aspects from his previous appearance, Nelson is very, very fun. I mean, there are episodes focused on, I guess, side characters, which can be a little irritating when they're done incorrectly or when they're not done super well, but I thought Little Nelson's appearance was really great to see. Nelson was a nice addition to the Fire Chapter story, and I wish we would have gotten to see a little bit more of him. Antonia, on the other hand, I'm not really too impressed with. Again, just like with Clutch Powers, I was really pushing for Antonia to be something special, considering her backstory and considering how the actual character came to be, because the story is actually really, really touching. The issue is Antonia really doesn't have a lot to do either. She's kind of just a cameo character. She was in the same episode as Nelson was, but she really didn't have that much of a chance to shine. I got what she was, I got what her personality was, I know what she's all about, and I hope that she actually comes back in future Ninjago stories, because I would love to see her actually get some sort of major role. Something else that I do want to talk about, though, are the actual structures and the actual pacing of the episodes. As I'm sure you guys know, during the Fire Chapter story, or at least throughout all of Season 11, in fact, the Ninjago episode runtime has been shortened from 20 minutes to about 11 minutes, so definitely kind of a cutoff there. Now, the trade-off is, though, we actually are getting more episodes, so at the end of the day, we will have more content for Season 11 than any other Ninjago season before it. The issue is, the 11-minute format doesn't always work. Sometimes, yes, it most definitely does work, while other times it really doesn't. There are a few episodes that I feel like really didn't need to be in the actual story and were just kind of there for filler purposes, and then again there are some other episodes like episode 14 which I thought were absolutely brilliant and definitely deserved to be longer and not, 11 minutes in length. I don't think it hurts the series to actually transition into this new format, but I do think some episodes benefit from it while others really struggle with it. And again, the new animation studio is something to bring up as well. Ninjago is no longer being animated by Wilfilm, which was the previous Ninjago animation studio that animated Ninjago as well as a few other shows to my knowledge. And this new animation studio, I believe it's DHX, definitely not too bad there. I really, really love some of the detailing going on here. Again, it's kind of a trade-off. The ninja get more detailed, but at the same time, they really kind of are lacking in some scenes, especially in the earlier episodes. Some of the animation really wasn't up to par in some of those earlier episodes, but as the season progressed, it got better. So definitely not a fault of the studio there, more of a fault, I guess, of the rushed production, which again could be anyone's fault really. And if I had to give my overall final thoughts on the Season 11 Fire Chapter story, I was actually fairly happy with what I witnessed. There's not a lot going on here. Again, it's kind of a two-part story. It's very much part one of a two-part story, but it's still fairly solid. There are a few hiccups here and there, definitely not a perfect Ninjago story. And again, I really can't judge this when compared to the other seasons, because technically this is all part of Season 11 and the second half of the season hasn't even come out yet, but the Fire Chapter wasn't too bad actually. I actually found it to be really fun and pretty enjoyable for the most part. Again, that doesn't mean that it doesn't have any problems. It definitely does, and it does have a few more problems than, say, some of the better Ninjago seasons, but if I had to treat the Fire Chapter as just a specific season on its own, I'd probably rank it somewhere in the solid middle listing. I really liked it along the same lines that I really enjoyed Ninjago Hunted, but at the same time, there are a few problems that the Fire Chapter definitely has, and I can't really judge the actual season as it is until it's complete, and the Ice Chapter is not out yet, so I really can't put an actual, I guess, judgment on it. But if I had to give it just a general, I guess, final thought, it's really good, and there are a few things that weigh it down, but for the most part, it is a very solid Ninjago story, and I found myself enjoying quite a bit of it. And I'm really excited to see what else there is to come in the Season 11 story, specifically when the Ice Chapter rolls around, hopefully later this year. So thank you so much for watching this video, guys. That'll just about do it for my thoughts on the Fire Chapter. Now it's time to turn it over to you guys. In the comment section down below, feel free to tell me what you think of the Fire Chapter. List off some things that you enjoyed, list off some things that you really didn't like, and maybe we can all have a civil discussion about the Fire Chapter down below. I look forward to reading your guys' thoughts on that. And I hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts in this video. If you did, be sure to give the video a huge thumbs up rating. That would go a long way to helping out the channel, and I would very much appreciate it. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button if you've not done so already, and and stay tuned for more Ninjago videos coming very soon. With all that being said, guys, that'll just about do it for this video here. In the description, you will find the links towards my other forms of social media, whether it be my Twitter, my Instagram, my Patreon, or my merch. Be sure to support me on all those platforms if you would like to. With all that being said, once again, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. My name is TannerFishies, and with that, I bid you farewell.